Greetings, everybody. Nino the Mystic here, and welcome to another Let's Talk. And tonight, we're going to be talking about something that's been going viral here lately, I've noticed. And it's been on everyone's mind in all the different communities, to be honest with you. And, disclaimer though, this might be a bit of a trigger show. We are going to be talking about religion, different religions, and so there might be some trigger subjects coming up. So if you're sensitive to religious material, this might not be the show for you. But before we get going with the show, I want to apologize to everybody for missing last week's show. I don't know if you guys are aware of what's going on, but basically, to just a little rundown here for everyone is allergy pills. So I don't know if you remember in March when my allergies returned. Haven't had them in years, and haven't taken allergy medicine in years. Well, allergies are back, so I went and got the allergy medicines. Been on them for 3 months, I guess now, and decided to go off of them like I used to do before. I've never had issues with any medicine, for that matter. I never had an issue. But yeah, no, I guess the medicine is a little different nowadays than it was back in the day when I had allergies before. Because now I got major withdrawals going off of these things. So a huge warning to everyone who is taking allergy medicines or any medicines for any length of time. Be aware that, oh boy, withdrawals is not fun at all. So I've been dealing with major withdrawals, and then of course when you go off the allergy medicines, your allergies return tenfold for a while. So not only was I going through withdrawals, I couldn't breathe either. So it was kind of scary, because when you can't breathe, you can't eat properly, you can't sleep. You start to get into a little anxiety there. Like it's not a good feeling. So it's it's been a bit of a challenge, I guess, here, and it's not over. So I've basically just withdrawn from a half a dose now. Then I'm down to a half a pill now. And now next week, or starting Wednesday, actually, I'm going to go down to the quarter of the pill then. I can only assume that I'm going to have to go through the withdrawal all over again. Now, I don't know. I don't know my body. This is the first time this has ever happened. And I guess we'll just have to find out and see. So if that's the case, I got to go through another week of withdrawals. Then don't expect any shows next week. Okay, that'll be why. Okay. But hopefully my body will adjust better to this new dose and be fine. So let's go with that and hope that that's the case. But how you doing tonight, Robert?
I'm doing great. I don't have any allergies.
You're lucky.
Hey, speaking of that, now this is an old wise tale, I guess, and I don't know if you're into that natural healing. I suppose you kind of are, maybe. But they always said that if you eat the local honey, that you won't have any of those allergies. But it has to be the local honey, because the bees, do the pollinating from the plants that are local. And that way, you can avoid that. That's the only one I have.
Allergies is such a funny thing, because I'm allergic to trees. And I live literally right next door to,
a bunch of trees.
Right? I'm literally in the forest, like, although I'm not, and I am, but I'm not. And then, of course, on the West Coast, it's all trees here. So it's funny.
You live in the wrong area to be allergic to trees.
Well, it's funny because I moved here when I was like, 18 or whatever it was, and allergies started when I was around 21. Around that area, so I've had it my whole adult life, like suffered every spring, just so I don't know if there's something here that I'm allergic to that we don't have in Norway, or was it just my body? Because at 21, I do believe is a significant. They change every 7 years, and so 21 is a time when our bodies are changing. So maybe I just happen to become allergic then. I don't know.
They do say that when you have an allergy, you may not have an allergy. Like when I was a kid, Kid you not, I swear that when I was a kid, we had poison ivy in our driveway. And my mother would get poison ivy all the time. And I would, as a kid, I would go out there and play in the poison ivy. Never got poison ivy. Now, am I non-allergic to it or something? And then, like getting stung by bees. People always, I'm allergic to it. Well, when I was a kid, man, when I was in school, we would just catch bees and have them sting us just for fun. And but they say your body changes, and that at any time, in any moment, you could become allergic to bees or allergic to whatever you weren't allergic to before, like shellfish or pollen or any of these things. Now, the question to you was it some kind of chemical or maybe something along the way that they put in our food that changed your body chemistry to make you allergic to things?
Well, that's a whole other subject. That's a whole nother subject. I mean, that's debatable. Although I can tell you right now that I did go through menopause, and allergies were completely gone,
And there you go.
Last year I went on hormone replacement. Now my hormones are back to normal. Allergies are back. So for my own personal experience, I would say hormones is definitely linked to allergies. When you don't have the hormone, you don't have the allergy. So I don't know. It's almost, to me at this point now, I'm almost debating whether or not I should take the hormones. Maybe I should just get rid of the hormones and just let everything wither up and die and then have the allergies gone as well. I don't know. What's worth it here? That's the thing. You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's just too much. So, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So I don't know. So come next spring, guys, I am definitely not taking the allergy medicines ever again, which means that next spring I'll be suffering. I don't know. There's probably going to be a lot of shows that I'll be missing because of that. So expect that, but that's just the way it goes. If we're still here, that is, in spring, and who knows? I'm not even going to entertain that idea right now. But anyways, enough about my woes and problems. We have a lot more going on in this world than what I got going on. I'm sure whatever is going on with me is nothing compared to what other people are going through. And this guy here, let's see if I can even. Let's see if I can find. I got too many tabs. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I forgot about that. Yeah, so my mind is not 100% here, so you're gonna have to bear with me here. I'm gonna grab his name here because it's kind of long, and I'm gonna put it into the chat here. I'm sure you guys can see it there. Abdullah is easy, right? That's his name. Hashem Al-Sadiq, I do believe, is the title.
I think you nailed that. I've heard his name a dozen times today, and I think you nailed it right there.
Abdullah Hashem, that's pretty. But Abba Al-Sadiq, I think, is the title. I'm not 100% sure. But I have all kinds of links, right in the beginning of the description. I got his YouTube channel. It's blowing up. It's going viral. He had 72,000 2 weeks ago. Now he's up to 75. So his YouTube is blowing up. I got his website down in there. And in the website's where you can find his manifesto, which is basically saying the same thing that he does in these little videos that you've seen, or you might see if you're going to go and research this for yourself, but a little bit more detail. But other than that, there wasn't anything else that really stood out to me as far as his manifesto. Like, he didn't give anything there that he hasn't said in these videos already. It's only 30 pages, so if you guys want to go and read that, you can as well. And what else links did I put in there? I know when I first scheduled this, for some reason, because I obviously been out of the Christian community for a long time, but for some reason, L.A. Marzulli's interview with him came up in my feed. So I watched that. That might be something that you guys want to watch. Hang on here.
Yep.
Just because I think most of my audience is probably either Christians or ex-Christians, and oh, this is going to be a long show. I don't know.
It'll be fine. Well, and that's the thing is he knows the scripture, it seems like, as well for the Christians as he does for the Muslims. Put it that way.
Okay, yeah.
From my opinion,
So
he
I
knows it
thought
all.
Ali Marzulli's interview will be good for you guys to watch, even though if you're not into the Christian community, or you're probably most likely ex-Christians. Most Western people are. And so the questions that he's asking are probably more likely the kind of questions that you would ask. So I know I had a part 1 and part 2 in the description, but for some reason it's gone now. So you'll have to look up L.A. Marzulli and find those 2 videos there, because the Christian community obviously is in uproar right now with this, because they think this is, this might be the new Antichrist and blah blah blah. So there's that. You can go and look that up. But somebody's asking for links. Well, they're down in the description of the video. In this video, okay? So I have his Wikipedia, I got his YouTube, and I got his website. Everything is in the description down below. You'll have to, get out of the chat if you're going to go and find those now, or go and look that up later once we've done the show. I'm not going to go over everything that this guy has, obviously. This is just a little teaser. I got a couple of points I want to bring with this guy, and then you guys go and check it out for yourself, okay? Go and binge watch his videos. He's got tons and tons he's not new. He's been on the scene since 2015. So he's had a good decade now of being groomed for this position that he's in. And the whole reason why he even went along with this is because this other guy, and I can't remember what that guy's name, and I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyways, some dude who's also high up there told him that he was. That's where he got the actual idea. Now, before we get too far in, why don't we go through the basics? Just I want a quick little rundown of this guy. I have his Wikipedia thing here. Again, you can find that down below. Yeah, this is his name here. So this guy here was born in 83. So I guess he's now in his 40s then. So a perfect age for a leader to emerge, if you will. He early life. So he was born to an Egyptian father and an American Christian mother. And I do believe he was raised in Indiana. And that's another thing that you got to remember, that this dude is actually American, although they spent a lot of time in Egypt. So he's been going back and forth, and this is why he's so fluent with the languages. He's well educated, well versed in all religious texts. That was his passion from a young age, and I'll go into that a little bit more as we go along here. And so he can go back and forth. Like you couldn't even tell the difference between if he's American or whatever he is, right? So, but he was actually raised as a Sunni Muslim. That must be a different denomination of the Muslim thing. I don't know much about Muslims, to be honest with you guys. So Muslims, if you're watching, please bear with me. I'm probably going to butcher things and say things wrong, and expect it. Okay. So, but the one thing here from his early age, I had to have a giggle, because this is something that I was not caught up in, but I did study it for a quick minute 20 years ago in 2005. Okay. So him and his buddy. So this, you got to remember, these are 2 guys from Indiana. Okay. Who very much into religion, well studied the religious text, but for some reason they had a hate on for cults, and they wanted to make a documentary disputing different cults. And one of them was the Raelian. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I remember it so vividly because they were located here in Vancouver. And also, one thing that they don't mention here about the Raelian, which I thought was the biggest thing about them, is that they're into cloning. So they're not just a UFO cult. These people are scientists who are cloning people. For real, like they are, and I don't. Who knows how far they've gone now, or who or what they have cloned by now, and all of this. But anyways, these two dudes. So his buddy's name is Joseph McGowan, okay, and then this Abdullah guy here went into the Raelian seminar in Las Vegas, I guess, pretending to be part of their group and filming the whole thing, and then basically made a documentary about exposing cults, okay, and cult leaders. So not only is he well educated, well versed in religious texts, he's also very well familiar with how cults operate, how to manipulate the crowd, like how they did it, what they said, you know what I mean? There's a certain genre about the whole thing. And so, yeah, it was just sort of setting the whole stage for what he has become now. So, so that was in 2005. Now, yes, 2005. Then by time 15, so another decade then under his belt here, is when he founded the Amani Religion of Peace and Light, is what they call it. That's their sigil there. And
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. Anyways.
So wait for a second. When did you say they were cloning? What year was that?
The what?
What year they were cloning?
2005. This was way back. This
okay. This is why. So I looked this up just for FYI, and it says that Canada prohibited. They passed a law in 2005. Right around 2004, became law in 2004, explicitly bans the creation of human clones. So this is why all that stopped around that time, is because they were probably doing that, and Canada was legal to clone.
Who knew? I mean, geez, I better find all my clones. Geez, I don't know.
Well, it's just a tidbit of information there that kind of goes with your story.
Yeah, I remember looking into this. Was the beginning of the whole computer thing, right? And somehow I stumbled upon this. I remember looking into it, and he also had a huge thing about sexual this and that, and classic cult thing, right? And so does this guy too, by the way. So that we don't get, so people don't think that there's something special about this guy, because it's not. But yeah, so then he claims to be a follower of, this might be the guy that I was talking about, Ahmed al-Hassan.
Yeah,
the Iraqi Shia Muslim religious leader, right? So he's the one that told them that he is the successor. He's the one that put the bug in his ear. Okay, that he's the one, you see. And so that's where it started. And he's like, oh, okay, well, let's go with it. And he's already got all the knowledge of how cults work and how to do it and all this kind of stuff, right? He knows his texts. He knows all these different languages already. Like, he's a perfect candidate for this job. And so you guys can read all this yourself. But he is actually married since 2012, apparently. I looked up the wife, can't find her. It doesn't surprise me. Even the I looked up the, or I didn't look. Yeah, I did look up the Saudi prince from the Saudi there. The guy that's in the news recently. Same with his wife. You're not going to find any nudes there. I can tell you that. You're not going to find her blabbing her mouth off on social media or any of that. These people hide their wives really well, so I couldn't find her. I have no idea what she looks like. Of course, I wanted to stalk her a little bit, but I couldn't find her.
Well, even if you did, she probably had a hood over her head,
No, I don't think he does. I don't think he doesn't. He's not going to. You don't have to do that. See, he's changing things.
Probably still had that. What do you call that thing they put over there? So they just.
Well, maybe it's public. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, I couldn't find her, and they have 4 children that we know of. He mentioned in some interview about a couple of, which I thought was kind of weird, a couple of stepchildren. Now, I don't know, but I thought, Muslims, they like to marry virgins, don't they? Did he
Yeah,
marry somebody that already has a couple of kids, or has he
yes,
been married before? I don't know.
well,
See,
imagine if their husband died or something, that because
yeah, well,
I
no,
don't
that's
think there is
a
no
widower.
divorce.
No, that's a no, no, no. You're not going to marry some widower. That's why widowers are always so, poor, right?
Or
Nobody wants a widow.
he could have stepchildren on his side. No, that wouldn't work, would it?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Either he had already been married before and divorced, which
Yeah.
I thought was a no-no, or this wife that he has now already has a couple of kids, which again I thought that was kind of I don't know, a no-no. What do I know though? Again, no offense to
Oh,
the
I'm looking it up.
and to that, but so all he's mentioning here is the current wife and the 4 kids that he has biologically with her. But in some other, like I said, this is why you got to pay attention to all the different interviews, because sometimes they slip up. Sometimes things come out in one interview that didn't come out in some other interview. And so this is where you kind of got to binge watch a little bit to see where the slip ups are and whatever. But anyways, it's none of our business really. But um, and then he has actually written a couple of books, which you can get for free on his website. I thought that was kind of nice. He's not just looking to make money here. He actually is giving away his stuff for free. So that's all right. So go to his website if you want to read the books, or if you want to read his manifesto. All the things are in there. All right, so let's get rid of that. That's one share gone. So that's kind of like his early life. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit of a gist of, from bits and pieces of things that I've seen. So yeah, 2 dudes, him and his buddy doing the filmmaking, Indiana, really. To me, it screams the 3-letter agency to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of these people are operatives.
Well, that's exactly it. I think you hit on something here a little earlier, and I did listen to one of his interviews that he was talking about. He owns nothing. He has nothing. I don't own anything, but he has a foundation or a society that owns. He says, "Yeah, but this society or the foundation owns this house and these cameras and everything." So I'm like, so you're kind of, and I hate to say this, just like the politicians, they don't own anything. Remember Hillary Clinton, how she had the Clinton Foundation, and
it's all funneled through the foundation. Yes,
and it's all funneled. She had all these houses and planes and everything, but she didn't make any money. She's poor, like you and me. She's just poor.
Yeah. So I got a little something to add to that. So a lot of people, not a lot of people, some of the people that I've seen on YouTube that have talked about this, particularly the one guy that actually gave me the idea, who I heard this from. Now his point was that, oh well, he can't be it because he's a nobody. He's got no money. He's got no name, or surely the Antichrist or the Mahdi or whatever. Surely that's got to be some rich dude. No, actually, it's not. And we're going to go through the iPet Goat video again so you can see it is a nobody. And that's why, to me, this perked my ears, because I'm like, this is all fitting in to what they're wanting to come on the scene. It's not going to be a Rothschild. It's not going to be anybody that you know. There's not going to be any money. That defeats the whole thing. A religious leader is supposed to be poor, just like Jesus. Okay, Jesus said, go and sell all your belongings, give it to the poor, and follow me. That's what this guy is also saying. Now, what this guy did, Jesus only had 3 years of ministry and he was gone. Okay, they're all freeloaders. Every single one, religious leader, are freeloaders. They just go into house to house.
You want to hear something really? You want to hear something really interesting?
No, let me finish. Let me finish, because I'll forget, and then I'll totally forget.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
What? He comes from nothing. He's a dude from Indiana who did some documentary. Okay, his parents don't have any money. They're multicultural, everything. Like there's nothing there. However, in order to be a follower there, you have to sell your house. You got to sell all your belongings, and you bring it all into the compound. They all do that. Every single cult does that. And so it's not my money, it's our money. And this is how. So, and I was just reading his manifesto, actually. So you come there, you give them all the money, and then you bring your talents. And so whether you're a plumber or a hairdresser, don't matter. All you things, you do that for free within there. So you're taking care of the gardens, you're thinking whatever. So anyway, so they bought a old orphanage in the UK. That's where the headquarters is right now. Apparently they were in Sweden though a few years ago. They got ran out of Sweden. They got rid of them in Sweden. Ran them out of town in Sweden. So they had to move from there. Living in the UK now in an old orphanage. So like a big, huge it's not really a house because it's an orphanage with just multiple rooms, for them. Mm-hmm. And in these videos, you'll see the sanctuary that they use. That's where most of the videos are filmed and interviews are filmed and whatnot. So, so that's where the money is. So, I mean, they got money now. But there's 200 of them over there already. So they're well established already. It's not new. It's already been going on for about 10 years. So, sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, okay. When you were talking about the children and who he was, I just thought it would be just kind of interesting if I typed it into ChatGPT. I'm kind of into that AI thing because it usually gives me some good answers. And I typed in how many children does he have and by who? And I was going to say congratulations on what the information you got. I'm surprised it's on there. It says there is limited public availability information about Abdullah Al-Sadiq, and as of now, no verifiable records confirm how many children he has or with whom.
Well, Wikipedia is ahead of them then. That's the thing. I guess they didn't go and look at the Wikipedia then. Or listen to his interviews. And that's the thing. So you can't just go to one source to find your information. You got to go all over the place and find the inconsistencies as well. What comes out of his mouth, I guess, would be most valid. I mean, if he said, you know what I mean? So he did mention a couple of
I know.
I thought that was kind of weird. So anyways,
I heard that in the interview too. I'm just saying is that I thought it just kind of interesting this thing would say such a thing when there's multiple information out there about, and he publicly says that he has children.
Well, either that person whatever you're reading it from, I don't know who you're reading from here, either that person is incredibly lazy and didn't do any research, or they're trying to cover things up. Because that's the thing now, people. Now that you guys are aware of this guy, okay, now it's your job to pay attention, everything that goes on, and study now while the information is there. Because if he is the guy that they want to be on the scene, to be the leader of the new one world religion that's coming, you better believe it. There's going to be some hiding of information and old interviews. You're not going to see those anymore, depending on what he said. You know what I mean? You're going to have a whole team now scrutinizing every word he says, and they'll scrub out whatever doesn't align with the agenda. So this is why it is important to retain and get in there now while it's still fresh, because I don't know if they've actually made up their mind yet if this is the guy, because somebody's got to be coming on the scene real quick. You know what I mean? So, and so far, I mean, he's kind of fitting the bill to me so far, what I've seen. And the thing is that he's embracing all of Abraham religions, not just although he is more or less just a Muslim. He was born a Muslim. He is embracing all of it. And that's exactly what we want, isn't it? In the one world religion, right? So one day he's probably going to be up there hugging the Pope, or maybe even taking over that Pope job, because I don't know who this new Pope is. I haven't really looked into it. It looks kind of fishy to me too. Another American, really, Pope? I don't know. I don't see him staying there. I don't see him being the leader of the Christian church. I just don't see it. And that might be why, because he's just a temporary until the actual leader comes in who's going to take over the whole thing. Although I don't want to be putting that in your mind. I want you to, figure this out for yourself. Just take a look at it. But yeah, so for those of you who haven't seen anything yet, you have to see just a 1 minute video here where he is talking to the Christians. Okay, so this is 58 seconds, so pay attention here.
I am Abdullah, the successor of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, the successor of the Comforter Ahmed, the successor of Simon Peter, the successor of Muhammad, the successor of Jesus Christ. I am the true and legitimate Pope. I am the proof upon the Christians. I am the son of the Muslims through my father, and the son of the Christians and the Jews through my mother. I am the son of the East through my father, and the son of the West through my mother. I am like Zulkarnain, who with one horn in the East and one in the West, and I am the inheritor of all that lies between. I am more knowledgeable than any false pope, and I am appointed by name in the will of the prophets. My name is also on the tongue of Isaiah, who prophesied of the righteous servant, and he said, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand.
So that's just a quick little 58-second video of it. So if you guys want to watch the whole thing, obviously go to his YouTube and binge watch his stuff there. But basically, and in this manifesto, he kind of breaks it more down, with because it goes from this guy to this guy. Then there's so many sons and sons and sons and sons and sons upon sons. And I got tired of it. But he's got it there. So I mean, I'm assuming that the religious scholars out there must have gone through all this stuff, to check it out, to see, is he actually related to all these people? Is he actually a successor of all these? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know how all these people.
Nina, just think. If you go back far enough in your lineage, you're probably related to somebody important too.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? And that's the thing is, if we all go back in our lineage, far enough, we are somehow related to somebody else because our family survived whatever catastrophe came at some point in time. And and with a little bit of creativity, you could be related to probably the Pope himself. Or Jesus Christ was your great nephew.
Well, according to this guy, and I guess according to scripture, whoever declares it is it. You have to actually come up and declare it. So there's been a lot of others before him. Obviously, I don't know if anybody has come to this kind of length with the lineage and claiming to be a successor of all of these. I don't know if anybody else has done that. There's been a lot of kooks, obviously, a lot of people who think that they're whatever, like the alien. I mean,
well, on his one video, he says, "Why would I go through all this scrutiny and harassment, and put my family's name in jeopardy if I wasn't the real deal, because God has made me his messenger and has spoken to me," and I thought, wow, this was a power. Put it this way, what I got out of it, he was a powerful speaker. He's if you have listened to his videos or anything, he speaks really calm, and his words are really clear. He doesn't get upset about anything. He just talks real nice. And I mean, you know who that reminds me of?
I don't know.
Obama. Remember how Obama was a...
what they have in common here? The common thing here is that they're actors, okay?
Yes.
This guy was literally into doing documentaries. He was going through probably acting school or whatever it was in Indiana. here in the States. Okay, so he's fluent in American, I guess, fluent in Abrahamic, fluent in everything. This is why he can kind of float among everybody. And he's well educated. You can hear the language that he uses. He's not from the hood. Okay, this guy is not from the hood. This guy, you know, he knows his stuff. And so another thing too that I got from him that I, you know, which is another perfect fit for somebody like this, is that when he was young, okay, obviously he grew up with a multi-religious family, although I thought they were mainly Muslim. I don't know how much mom and Christianity really had to do with it. But anyways, he read all the texts though. He was had one of those moments, or I'm sure we all have had it, where we're praying out loud to God. You know, please. He you know, he was basically talking out loud to God, saying that, look, I don't care which of these religions are the true one. I just want to figure out which one it is, and so that I can, you know, devote my life to that. Basically, devote my life to you, God. Let me know which one is the true religion, right? That kind of thing. I'm sure we've all had sort of, you know, those kind of moments. And so I thought, yeah, that's, you know what I mean? And so instead of going out clubbing and doing all the other stupid stuff that most of us did, he sat at home and read the Bible, you know, and read the text, and well versed. He's perfect for this job, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you know, and so yeah, he speaks it like you really feel it when he says it. You know, this guy definitely believes in himself. Obviously, there's no way he could do this if he did this. And I guess one of the reasons is that dude, and I can't remember his name now, told him that he's the one. You know,
yeah.
And he goes through all of these. There's 12 Mad Eyes or something, and I guess he's the last one. So I don't know. To me, it seems like this is the setup, guys. We're being set up for the one world religion to come in, okay? And this guy, from looks of it, is probably going to be the leader. You know, he's going to
he fits the bill. Besides that, he is so well versed. Oh my God, he knows. From what I listened to him speaking, he knows all the religions there: the Jewish, the Christian, and the Islam, like the back of his hand. I mean, he was making quotes. He understood who Jesus was. It wasn't like, you know, he was blowing it off as smoke. He was embracing each one and quoting and telling, you know, that he believes in all of this. And he's and it almost makes, you know, by the time I got done listening to him, I was kind of thinking, man, you know, this guy sounds pretty impressive just by listening to him. Not that I'm going to convert or anything. I'm saying is, that's
what you need in a leader. It's charismatic. The words come out naturally, you know, like, but you know, like Obama, he can't talk for shit unless he's got the teleprompter there. I've seen that. So I don't know. I'm assuming that this guy probably has a teleprompter right there as well. We don't notice it, but it's there. There's no way that he remembers every single word without it. You know, they have ways of doing it. But yeah, no, he's memorized it because he started, you know, learning this when he was very, very young. It wasn't just something he took up last year, you know. So he knows his stuff, okay. And I have a feeling that he's being groomed. You know, and I guess the only way to know is time will tell. If he blows up, all of a sudden he's got a million freaking, you know, like, watch out, guys. This will be the guy. Now, the scary thing, though, is that there is some strict rules with it that I don't like. We're not going to like this religion. I thought maybe they would be a little bit more lenient, considering how far we've gone out of, you know, the way, as far as they're concerned. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to rein us into that kind of, like, you have to be complete devoted, like, just sell your house, you know, like everything.
That's the thing, is all religions start as, we're going to open the doors to everyone, and it's going to be the greatest thing under the sun, and God loves you, and this and that, and love and peace and blah, 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 blah. But once you're in, and everybody's converted, then the rules come out. And then things change. But you're already in. You can't get out. You know, it's like escaping Christianity. It ain't like walking through the door and saying, well, I'm out of here. I mean, people will come knocking at your door. Why'd you leave? Can you come back? You know, oh, it's the fellowship. It's the love and the peace. We're good people. Come back. God loves you. Blah, blah, blah. You were in and out of Christianity. It wasn't just that simple to walk out the door. I'm done. I'm done with you. Get out. Right?
Yeah, so you know he's going to make sense to you know, every religion, not every religion, Abrahamic, that is. So he's not including a lot of the other ones. There's a lot more religions out there, obviously, than just the Abrahamic. Although I do believe that the Abrahamic religions do pretty much cover most of the, well, all of the West and most of the world, I would say. You know, so that does make sense. Now, where do I, you know, so the thing is with them is that they have to tell us ahead of time what they're doing. You know what I mean? And they show us things in movies and whatnot. Now, I know I've showed the I Pet Goat 3 movie a couple of times on my channel already, but I'm gonna show it to you again. It's only 4 minutes long, okay? And there's something in here that kind of goes with another show that we did. So adding on to more shows that we've done in the past, that also goes along with this guy, and really a big shocker of what he's doing. And I'll tell you what it is once I show it to you here. So let's just watch it. It's only 4 minutes. And I'll stop it here when I got a point that I want to show it. But here, you know, we got, you know, Putin and Trump here dancing for China. That was the CV, right? The coronavirus that we just went through. This dude, I know it looks like Jesus, but he's representing the head of the Illuminati, which is debatable exactly who or what that is. But Jesus is definitely the leader of that. Whether you like that or not, it's just the way it is. This is the guy, okay? This is the Antichrist or whatever you want to call him, okay? He's coming from the Middle East. He is a nobody, and he's a Muslim.
Seen something. I just seen something. Oh,
yeah, I know. Let me just
point
out something here. Okay, so this is the Ark of the Covenant. Now I know I did a video on the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, this Abdullah guy. Okay, so one of the things, if you want to be a member of this religion, you have to give your blood. You got to give a vial of blood, and he puts it, and he has a replica of the Ark of the Covenant in the compound, okay? And he puts every member's blood inside there. Now, for those of you who are not occultists, you may not know this, but okay, you should never, ever give away your blood. You have no idea what kind of magic people can do with that blood and what they can do to you and your bloodline for that matter. That's the last thing you ever want to do, is to give away your blood, ever. And yet he demands it. Your blood in the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, I thought that was like, holy smokes, this dude is serious. Now, what did you see here that I didn't see?
Oh, I listened to a bunch of his interviews, and he was talking about Jesus coming back. Jesus is coming back, and God is coming, and Abraham. All these people are the Mahdi's coming, right?
He is the Mahdi.
Well, he is the Mahdi, but he is the messenger. He's saying, I am the messenger, and I am here to tell you. And then he went into some story about how God always sends a messenger to tell, everyone, give them the heads up, like we were talking about. You have to tell them the truth, and then the bad stuff comes, right? Uh-huh. But then if you back this up just a hair, right? Here's the guy. He's a Muslim. Uh-huh. He's praying, right? Then the next, he's talking about Jesus and everybody. They're coming back. They're coming back. They're coming back. And they're going to lay down destruction, he says. I remember what he said. He says, they're going to lay down destruction and destroy everybody, who isn't a believer, and blah, 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 right? Uh-huh. But if you back this up just a hair, all of a sudden, I seen something coming out of that pyramid. I seen it. You go back, what happens? They're praying in the Muslim thing, and the next thing you know, we see this pyramid, and what comes out of it for a split second.
Yeah, let's look.
No. Before this is where the art comes up. You got to go back just before the pyramid.
I don't want to go back anymore because people are getting sick of this video. I know I've shown it so many times. I have the link to it. This is on my own channel. I uploaded it. You guys can go and sit. And this is one of those videos that you should be watching over and over and over and over and over again. There's not enough times to not watch this video because it's telling you, okay, what's going on here or what's coming. Okay, what the plans are. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to play it through and then we'll talk about it because otherwise people are going to get sick of this video here. Because, every time you watch it, you're going to see something new.
Yeah.
That's the beauty, So let's just go through it here. It's only 4 minutes. So in the previous videos, I said some guy was going to come to the surface. My guess was that he was going to find the original Ark of the Covenant. You know what I mean? And in there's some kind of Torah, some kind of tablet of the truth that we're all going to be abide by. Now, I forgot what I was going with it. Oh, yeah. So he is the messenger. Right? He's not claiming to be Jesus or Muhammad or any of that. He's just another messenger, like messengers have come before. And most messengers do get dismissed. Most get laughed off and usually killed. Just like Jesus. He only lasted 3 years. That was it. He's gone. And so, so this guy, on the scene. Oh, here's the Ark of the Covenant. We must pay attention to that because that's been the thing that we've all been looking for this whole time. That's going to tell us the truth. And I'm still have a feeling that that's probably still going to be happening. But of course, it's not going to be the actual. It's going to be something that they're placing somewhere for us to find, with whatever scripture. It might even be something that's going to support him and his claim. Like, oh, yeah, it says right here, Abdullah, in 2025, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But this is kind of what we're waiting for, So, he's the messenger, all right? World news. See, he's going to be all over the news. Everybody's going to be watching this. He's going to say that, we found this thing, and this is what it says, and I'm your new leader now. who is a messenger, right? They're all messengers.
But see, you see this. We just seen that he was in a clip just a second ago, and then he's praying, and then there was this other guy with the beard. Now, is that the returning of the Jesus, the God that he's talking about because he's the messenger? And again, now he's standing in front of the news thing. He's again the messenger.
Yeah, I don't know that bearded guy on it. It could be Moses. I don't know, who that is exactly, but I mean, nobody can see God. If you see God, you die, according to the Bible. If you see him, you die. Yeah. So obviously God, whatever this God is radiating some kind of radiation that kills you.
Mm-hmm.
So, he couldn't be coming here. He can't be sitting here in front of the news and talking to us and telling us what's up, because we'll all die, according to the Bible. So it has to be a messenger. That's the only thing we're ever going to get is a messenger. Well, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, anyways, let's just finish this video here.
Keep going.
Okay, so now we got something to go back to. We need to go back to Barabbas. Gospel of Barnabas. And I just was as a reading or watching, I can't remember because I watched so much now. I did see that name came up here recently in his videos. So that's another thing. Keep an eye out for the Gospel of Barnabas. Okay, I think that's definitely is going to be something big coming out here. There's something we missed in the Gospel of Barnabas that they're going to find now, and it's going to make sense to us. It's going to be like, oh my God, that's it. You know what I mean? It's going to be something that clicks. I don't know what it is, but it's coming. Same as the Quran, see? So Gospel of Barnabas, same quotes in the Quran, right? You see how it's all starting to kind of, come together? That's America. That's the end of their financial system, okay, which is coming up like this year. All of this is coming up. This, like, you guys have no idea how close we are to all of this coming to pass. Like, seriously. Now, if you guys have watched any of this stuff at all, you'll know that this guy's all about the black flag. Okay, they were just at the Vatican just before the Pope died. They're all out there with the black banner. Okay, that's one of the things in the Muslim thing is that the Mahdi is the one that's going to come up with the black banner. Okay, and lo and behold, what is the new flag going to look like? Oh, it's going to be black.
Black.
What is it going to be? Oh, a merging of the Jews and the Muslims. Really? And so, yeah, they're already waving this black flag thingy already. The banner, they call it, or whatever. And there's the Al-Aqsa, whatever it is, Muslim mosque, which is right next to the Temple of David. I believe it's going to stay just because of this whole Muslim thing. Yeah, the Muslim church is not going anywhere. They'll build something next to it here. They already got all the plans. It's all ready to go. I've heard that it's only going to take them about 3-4 months to put it up. Okay, like everything's going to be bang, bang. It's already, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
so, yeah.
Thing is there's way more Muslims than there are Jews. I mean, if there's a catastrophe,
Did you know that the Muslims are only 1,400 years old?
Yes.
It's
Yes, I
very new on the block, like really new
Yeah.
on the block, you know,
But
according to a lot of this. And so, yeah, they're merging. And I heard him today say something too. Oh, yeah, we agree with the Jews when they said whatever it was, you know. Oh, we agree with the Jews. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you are agreeing with the Jews because the Jews and the Muslims are banding together against the rest of us. As you can see, they're planning on taking down America, which is not just America, the whole Western world. Okay, our financial system's going to be gone. There's going to be no more of this nonsense that has been going on here, to be honest. And yeah, I don't know if you want to. Do we want to just finish it? I guess it's something in the net.
Yeah, go ahead. You only got.
So this is all kind of lining up for me. I can kind of see what's going on here. You know, this guy's on the scene now. He's already been groomed for years and years and years, saying all the things that everybody wants to hear. You know, they're already waving their black flag already, and you can tell, like Musk with his X and the black, and everything's just black and X, and you know, everybody's going towards all the social media has a logo with the black and white.
Well, and in the end, that guy, you know, he stabs all CNI, which is the Illuminati or the Masons or Illuminati. You would say so that would say that he destroys again. Illuminati gets destroyed.
Yeah, that's the one thing that they don't realize. The Illuminati think that they're on the top of the chain. They think that they're all it. Which they're not. They are, and I've said this before. I know I've shown this video many times now. They're going to go along with it because they think that they're on top of the food chain, but they're not. They're going to get deceived at the end, just like the rest of us, all of us, because Illuminati is actually Christianity. Okay, and I know Christianity don't like to hear that, but that's what it is. The Illuminati, the Freemasoners, all of that. This country, the USA, was founded on the Freemasoners. Christian, they weren't Christian, but they lump it in together because the Western thing, the Christian thing, the Illuminati, which is the secret society of it all, is has been on the top. So,
I mean, if you go back, who are the Illuminati? They started out as the Knights Templar. Then the Knights Templar became too strong, and who destroyed them? The Pope destroyed them. And then they became the Illuminati, which then they became the Masons, and and so forth and so on. I mean, the names changed and they morphed into different things, but it's like Hydra, all over again. You cut the head off and it springs up two more.
Right. Yeah, but it was all founded on Christianity. So the Templars were Christians, right?
Yes.
But then it changed things. And in order to be a Freemasoner, you have to believe in some deity. It doesn't have to be necessarily Christian, but you have to believe in something. You can't be an atheist, let's put it that way, to get in there. All of these things are founded on the religious bullshit that we've been fed for the last 2,000 years. So Christianity thinks that they're, part of the club and they're going to be there at the end times. No, they're not. They're going down. They're going to be deceived at the last minute from the looks of it there. And then the Jews, the Muslims will take over. And as we can see in Europe is just inundated with Muslims. They're everywhere. They're taken over everywhere, and that's done on purpose. So, all of their Christian churches over there, they're all mosques now. you know, and that all goes along with their agenda here. And so I have a sneaking suspicion, and the only way we're going to really know, I guess, obviously, is time, but look out, okay, for this guy. How, if he blows up all of a sudden, he's got over 1 million this, and like he's blowing up, watch out. That means that I'm right here, okay? That what I'm saying to you right now is true, okay? If he doesn't, if it fizzles out, if he's like just a cuckoo cult leader or whatever, he'll be gone. Like, just like the aliens. So when was that? It was like, oh yeah, read about that for a few months, and then blah, they're gone. They'll just get rid of him, obviously, right? But if he's not, if he is blowing up like he seems like he is right now, then he is part of them. He's part of the club. This is all orchestrated. It's all part of the plan, guys. He's already waving his black flag around. Woohoo, right? So keep an eye out for this guy. That's what this show is all about. Bringing awareness to this guy. He's blowing up right now. It's kind of going along with all the stuff that I've been talking about, as you can see. And so yeah, just pay attention. But I'd be curious if anybody got any questions or anything to add to this. You know, either talk to us here in the live chat or drop it in the comment section for later, and we can answer them there. You know, we might do some more shows on this down the road as things are progressing, maybe, I don't know, or as, you know, if you guys are emailing or asking questions, we can take another look at it, right, and stuff like that. And so whether you're for them or against them, I don't care. It's a debate, discussion, and it's you know, so yeah,
it's not if you're for or against, it's just be aware, right?
it's just awareness, right? I'm seeing it happening, and you know, yeah. Oh, it looks like the chat hasn't been moving, but yet it has.
Yes, yes, it has.
Hello, everybody. Just realized that now. Oh my goodness, I don't even know if we have questions. I'll have to.
Well, you know, Sunset Dreamer says religion may be forced upon you if
guys, if you're wondering about what's been going on with me, you'll have to go back to the beginning of the video. I did explain exactly what's going on with me, so I'm not going to repeat it. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can see something here. Yeah, they did. Yeah, and they literally like would you know, chop your head off if you didn't go along with it, right? So I hope that they're not going to be pulling that kind of stunt this time around. You know,
yeah, well, and that's the thing.
I don't see him being able to get away with it, but then again, we've done this before. That's what I'm worried about. We're getting forced into something new again now, like literally forced into it.
But you're right. The most religions, if you're in that area, kind of push that onto you, and people will convert to get along with other people.
Yes, they'll go along with it just because it's the social norm. We just went through 2020. If that wasn't a good example of humanity right there in a nutshell, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
You know, and people knew better to not take the thing, but they did it anyways because they didn't want to go against the grain. Nobody wants to be the one that stands up and says, you know what? I don't think so. You know?
You remember everybody would cover their face, just go along to get along, put the mask on, and let's keep moving.
That's exactly. Yeah, nobody wants to be the one that's, you know.
They didn't want to stand out in the crowd and go, yeah, I'm not doing it. Just do it and make everybody happy. I talked to one guy. He says, well, you know, if you're so against it, why are you putting it on? I don't want to cause waves.
I don't want the neighbors talking, you know, whatever. Yeah, I know. That's humanity in a nutshell, and that's why we're in this position that we're in right now. This is how we got here, guys, okay? And, you know, it's time now to stop going along. It's time to start using your brain and thinking for yourself, you know, and standing up, you know? That's kind of what we're doing here, is bringing awareness so that you guys can, I got something to think about, you know, and then go and check him out, go and research him. And we got another Robert in here.
Oh, there you go.
Might get blocked. Well, I don't know. How bad can it be? I just put it in there.
Yeah.
You think I'm going to block you? Probably not. Unless it's something really.
Well, it depends on you know,
but
it's some kind of crazy, horrible. Don't use slang.
Yeah, if it's really inappropriate, obviously.
Inappropriate. Don't use unappropriate words. That's what I was trying to get out.
Yeah, no, it's a legit question about the subject. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I mean, that's what we're here to figure things out. But if you're just trolling, then forget about it. Yeah.
It's not horrible. Well, okay. If it's not horrible, then it's fine. We'll try to do something.
Discuss it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, somebody said
that you wanted to bring up, because those were my points basically. There's
much. You know, there is. I think Steve Bo says I don't think, or he said something about there's been lots of false prophets, and again, you know, nowadays.
Neither.
Yes.
Robert.
None of the above.
Neither. I guess you could say I'm an ex-Christian, I guess, if, you know, I was never into the Muslim or the Jews, I guess. Although, as a hardcore Christian, I was definitely looking into the Jewish things, and I was resonating with some of the things. Because, really, Christians hijacked the Jews' religion. That was actually the you know what I mean? Like, so, if you're in Christianity, you're basically just in some hijacked nonsense taken from the Jews. So you would have to go with the Jewish thing, and this is why it's going to be so easy to convert the Christians over. They're halfway there already. They're already converted, you know, from the Jewish thing. It won't take much for them to go along with this stuff, you know. So no, we're neither, Robert. We're not into any religion at all. If anything, I call myself an occultist, which really only means I like to inquire hidden knowledge, is what that means, you know. So, and that includes religious knowledge as well. So, obviously, so there you go.
There we go. Yeah. I'm thinking.
You're thinking. You got to think out loud so we can know what you're thinking.
Well, you know, I'm typing too. So anyway, yeah. Who said that? Says, do you believe in God? I says, well, I don't know. You know, it's the great mystery, as they would say. You know, to me, God is not something that you can touch, or God is not someone you should worship. But whatever it is out there. It's everywhere. It's inside us. It's outside of us. It's everywhere around us. But I am not going to believe in a heaven that, oh boy, you know, there's a heaven and everything's good. But if I don't do what it says, you know, I'm going to the fire pit to hell forever. And that makes no sense.
That's the one thing that this guy's peddling heavily, and I mean heavily. If you don't abide by the things, oh yeah, it's all hell, brimstone, and the whole thing. So they're still ushering the same bullshit. Well, you know, basically, Abraham religions all believe in the same, ending to it all, is that we're all going to hell, right? So, and that's the only way that they can control us, is by telling us that. That's the only, you know what I mean? Like, and most people who are religious are only doing it because of that. Not because they actually believe. It's just that, oh yeah, we better say that we do, because otherwise we're going to go to hell. You know, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, God, okay, even God in the Bible is alluding to that there's more than one God, because he's a jealous God. If there wasn't any other gods, then why would God be jealous, right? So he's admitting to that in the Bible, actually, that there is more than one God. So when you say God to us just means a being who is more intelligent, probably a lot bigger, maybe in size. Now we can go back to the whole Anunnaki thing, and where did we come from, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, a creator, on the other hand, that's a whole different thing. I do believe that there is some kind of creator that created all of this. Now, could it just be a video game? That's kind of where it's kind of looking more and more like that we are in some kind of video game. Is there some 10-year-old on the other side made up some video game? You know, is that our creator? Who knows? That's totally up for debate. But something made this come into existence somehow, for sure. But to call it God, I think that's a very loose word. We are all gods in our own sense. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
that's where the whole I get triggered when I hear the word God, because it's like, which one? There's so many of us. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is, you're right. I mean, if there was a guy who created a video game, how do we know that the characters in that video game don't have personalities and lives just like you and I do? And they wouldn't know the difference. Remember the movie Tron kind of emphasized on that, and all the people in the video game, when the guy went in there, believed that they were in the real world, and yet they were in a video game. And how do we know we're not the video game? We wouldn't be able to tell. Plato's Cave, that's a good example of that. Plato's Cave. If you haven't heard of that, look that up. It's very interesting. Plato thought about it thousands of years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of starting to look like a simulation type of thing. And now that we have video games and stuff like, because you got to remember, we've only had electricity for 100 years, and games we've only had for 20 years or whatever it is. Very, 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 very short amount of time. And so anything we did prior to that, we had no knowledge of. There's no way we would know what a video game is or a simulation or any of that stuff until just very, very recent here.
But in all now that we have technology, we know that being human, you have electricity in your body. You're a generator, and your brain functions on electrical impulses. And when those electrical impulses cease to exist, then you're dead. So it kind of makes you wonder: are we a video game? And we're controlled by the universe. So maybe you're right, Nina. We are in a video game.
Well, I don't know if you play video games at all, but in some, I'm not a gamer, but my kids are, were, I guess. They don't have time for that now, but so I've seen it, and I've heard them talk and all that kind of stuff. I've been around it. Some video games, I don't know if all of them, but some video games will have alternative endings depending on how you play it. And that's kind of like with us, it's almost like we go through different timelines. Depending on how we play it. And so that we're multiplayer, really, playing a lot of different levels depending on decisions we make. You know what I mean? So we're constantly creating a new ending. There's no set stone, I don't think. Kind of like the video games. And also video games are built on top of each other, the levels on top. And that's what we're doing here too. Like, you look at ancient history, we can see the evidence that there was something else here before us. We're just building on top of. That's what we've been doing. And so I'm not a gamer. Like I say, I'm not that kind of science kind of person, but it does look a lot like a video game.
And that's the thing is when you die, well, you just get a new player. That and that's the thing. I'm exactly, like you said, you just said it. If people have been here for years before, we're building on other societies. Who's to say that we haven't, and we're just doing it all over again? Because it seems like humans keep making the same mistakes and they keep doing the same things over and over and over. It's just human nature. We build it up and we tear it down.
Again, in our defense, I would have to say, you got to remember, we come in here with a blank slate every time.
Yep.
So no wonder we're going through the same mistakes over and over again. It takes us, a long time to figure things out. And by the time we do, or we think we do, then it's time to go again and come back again. It's like, well, you know what I mean? We never have a chance. And I guess that's how the game is rigged. It's not really rigged in our favor, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? So,
it's what you make of it. Each player, each time you make a go round, you have a fresh new chance to be more or or less, depending on how hard you work at it. Because you know as well as I do, you've seen people work really hard at their life and make a great life, and other people don't care less, and those are the people in the street doing nothing, living in a tent. You know, not everybody gets that way on choice, but, you know, it happens pretty easily if you don't do anything.
Well, I think we take turns on that because we got to learn everything, right? So one lifetime might be rich, and the next one we're not, and you know, it would be kind of boring if it was always the same. So you know, I'm not.
You're in the not rich life right now, aren't you?
What?
The not rich life.
I feel pretty blessed. I got a roof over my.
That's true. But I mean,
I got food in my belly. I got stuff stashed away for later. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm as rich as the rich get. You know, you look at billionaires are miserable. They're sitting there and they go, you know, they're miserable. So rich is all in a perspective, really.
Yeah,
you know, if you are healthy, you know, and I'm not even not healthy right now, but I'm getting there, you know. But yeah, no, I'm content. That's the thing. I'm content with what I got, and that's where you want to be in life. It doesn't matter what you have, as long as you're content and happy with that.
Happy with it.
You know, if you're always constantly pining and wanting, and what a way to go. I mean, to me, that's just a waste of time. But yeah. So, anyways, I don't know if we babbled on and long enough here.
Well, we're almost getting to an hour and a half. We probably should say our last week and wrap it up before you know, take it easy on you tonight.
I just gotta answer this. There is no such thing as sin, okay? Other than your social insurance number, you know. But no, there's just experiences. And yeah, some of the experiences aren't good for some, right? But sometimes we're the victim, sometimes we're the perpetrator. It doesn't mean that one is bad or the other one, you know what I mean? They're equally important experiences that we take from this place. And that's what we got to remember. You know, it's, you know, you look at nature, you know, animals, you know, the fox is eating the hare. Like, does that mean that the fox is evil now because he needs to eat? I mean, yeah, I'm sure if you ask the hare, you know, nothing good's going to come out of that mouth, I guess, obviously, right? I mean, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you got to look at it from that. So you got to be
but you're right. I mean, think about it. Being human, we are all born killers in a way. We kill everything and eat everything, and we destroy everything. I mean, you know, we chop the trees down. We raise the animals for food on our table. We take advantage of everything that's on this planet, and we really are not for any, you know, the only thing that's going to kill us off is ourselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. I know. Yeah, I know. And so this is where spirituality comes in. You know, we come in with a blank slate, and we have to go back to basics. Trusting your intuition, you know, things like that. Listening. There is thoughts that come in that are not our own, good or bad. So, you know, there is other levels here, okay, and there are beings that can talk to us. It could be even ourselves. Some people like to call it a higher self. I don't know exactly what you want to call it or who it is, but you got to start paying attention. You know, how many people have you heard saying that, you know, a voice told me to go this way instead of that way or whatever, and that ended up being good. You know what I mean? So those are kind of the cheat codes. Spirituality is sort of a cheat code if you pay attention. It's the religious bullshit that kind of messes things up. And somebody said, I don't believe Satan isn't real or something like that. Yeah, no, Satan or the devil or whatever you want to call it, that only came in with Christianity, with the Abrahamic religion. And so this whole new religion that's coming is bringing in the same bullshit. It's the only way that they can control you is by, you thinking that you've sinned, for one,
Mhm.
and that you're now going to be going to hell, and there's some dude there with a pitchfork that's going to sit and poke you for the rest of your life, or, you know what I mean? I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like before, you
Mhm.
go back to prior to Christianity coming into Europe. Let's go
Mhm.
back to that. We had Odin and Thor, okay? We had other things. We were more in tune with nature, which then is with harvest, which goes back to survival is
Mhm.
essentially, and just living more like spiritual, like the natives. They
Mhm.
believe in that one. They just call it a spirit. That's it. There's no
Yeah.
name for it. It's
Yeah.
just
The
one
great.
great big
The,
spirit, and I like that. That's why I also call my show "A Message from Spirit."
yep.
You'll
It was
notice I don't say message from the angels. I don't say message from the whatever. It's spirit. Let's just
that
call it
was
spirit.
that was one thing they always called it spirit or the great mystery, and I
Right.
thought that's always kind of funny. And as much as I've studied the Native Americans, none of them went to war with each other about
Oh, the spirit.
believing in something. Hey,
Yeah.
that tribe over
My
there doesn't
spirit is
believe in
better
our
than your
religion.
spirit. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, there's just spirit. We're all connected to that spirit. That's the
yeah.
thing. We need to start going back to some of those basic, fundamental things, like the natives and the way that we used to live. And being more like, if you can't figure out what's right and wrong, I mean, you know what I mean? Maybe
Mhm.
it's not spirituality that you need. You might need some other things, some other issues
Yeah.
going on there.
The the
So
East, the Europeans, and were the ones that brought over this religion stuff, and they had began the deities of you have to believe in this and this, and they had all these mixed match religions, and then when they got to the Americas, it was like, oh, these people are heathens because they don't believe in one great deity and going to hell. I read books on this, and
yeah, I
and
know.
it,
I know.
every time it was the same. They were like, "Oh my gosh, these must be heathens because they don't have a hell and they don't worship a god. They don't have a church. Where's their church?"
I
And that
mean,
was the end of it.
that's the thing. Like, I mean, if you go back to listen to Jesus' words, if there was such a thing, he even says that you don't need a church. Two or more gather in my name. That's your church. Like you could be in your
Yeah.
basement. It could be anywhere. We don't need. Once you get church, which means organized religion, that's when all
Mhm.
corruption starts. That's when all the bullshit
Yeah.
starts. You get all kinds of nasty stuff. So spirituality is an individual thing. It's not something that you should be organizing over, and that kind of thing. But somebody saying, tell me you never had a bad dream. Now I'm not sure what that is pertaining to. But are we going back to sin, or are we going back to that kind of thing? But dreams are important. Those are messages, okay, that you're getting. And if it's bad, well, you might want to pay attention. It's either your subconscious trying to tell you something, maybe you missed something, that you might perceive as being bad, or dangerous or whatever. But it's your subconscious, okay, and it could even be other beings trying to warn you or tell you things, okay, so that you'll pay attention to that the next day. That's what dreams are. There's no good or bad. It's just messages,
Yeah.
basically, at night.
Well,
But
even this guy that we're talking about, Abdul Hassim, he was
mm,
in the one video. He said he had the angel Gabriel ahead of him, and we know what Gabriel is all about.
mm,
And then he
yeah,
said he had the angel Raphael behind him. And
I
what?
was listening to one too, and he was saying something about going under the cloak. I don't know if you read this. I don't know what this
Hmm,
cloak thing is, but yeah, all these religious beings were asking if they can come under the cloak, God's cloak or whatever. And the last person that asked was Gabriel, and he allowed him to. And that to me, that stood out. And like, wait a minute, Gabriel is in there as well. Yeah, no, I'm running that way. Oh, I'm running that way big time. I don't know what the heck is going on here, but yeah, no, Gabriel is bad news. All the angels in the Bible are bad news. All of them. And you got to remember that. Every single one of them have hurt humans.
Yes.
Have unalived humans. Okay? Now, there's nowhere in there about Satan doing anything. So if you're going to go by what it says in the Bible, really, you might want to go with Satan rather than the angels and this Yahweh guy. Okay? I mean, it's a death cult. It's all about the blood, right? You got to sacrifice, and you got to have the blood, and by the blood you're saved, and all. It's disgusting. Like, when are people going to wake up to this nonsense? Like, honestly, it drives me batty. Like, people are still today believing in this now. So this is going to be very interesting to see. Wrapping it all up, bringing awareness to this guy. Pay attention to if he blows up big time here, he's going to be forced down our throats pretty soon. Okay? And all his nonsense that he comes with. And yes, there's been a lot of ex-members of that religion already coming out saying that, being accused of sexually molesting. I believe he had told female worshippers that the only way to heaven was to do something to him with their mouths. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of nonsense that's going on. Okay, and if people believe that kind of stuff, like, I don't know. It just, but apparently they do. So yeah, like he's got the same classic cult nonsense around him as all the other ones. The only thing that I'm worried about here is that he is actually an operative, and he's being planted there. He's being groomed for this. Somebody has to be the guy that's going to be the leader of the new one world religion. Is it going to be this guy? That's my question. Is it this guy?
Well, and even so, are they just bringing him in to cause chaos? Like you said, nobody gets there by, right now, the 3-letter agencies see this just as you and me see it. If they wanted to bring him down, it would take but 2 seconds for them to cut the cord, shut off his YouTube channel, raid his compound, take away his money, blah, 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 and he'd be sitting on the street somewhere. This is all allowed to happen, and they're going to, and it's, let's throw him in the fire and mix it up a little bit and throw it down and let everybody be chaos. And guess what? They'll come in and rescue everybody. And we'll create a situation and figure it all out. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. Like, if he was just a nobody kook that nobody knew, he wouldn't make it, just like all the other ones. They never make it, and hopefully nobody gets hurt. That's the thing. But whatever. I mean, if you're that gullible that you're going to go and sell your house and move to the UK now and move in with that guy, then you kind of deserve it, so that's, and these are experiences. Maybe some of you need to have that kind of experience in this lifetime. You know what I mean? So again, there's nothing good or bad. It's just an experience. However, I choose not to experience that in this lifetime. And I choose rather to, bring awareness to it so that you guys can go and check it out for yourself. So I do have quite a few links. His website, you'll get his manifesto in there. His YouTube channel, of course, got tons of videos. He's been on the scene for 10 years. He's got tons of material to binge watch, and he's got some books that are free on his website. So there you go. There's, you can't say he doesn't have, material for you to read and study on. So if I was you, I would study this and if you got any questions, drop them in the comment section here for later, or email me. We might, if there is a lot of interest in this subject, we might do another video, down the road once we got more information. Maybe there's new stuff coming out that we want to bring up. We'll definitely revisit this whole subject again. And again, I apologize for missing last week. If you showed up later in the video and you're wondering what happened to me, go back to the beginning of the video where I talk about that, and it might affect me next week. So if I'm not live next week, you'll know why, but I'll definitely be returning the following week for sure. Can't wait for this to be over. and get back in the swing of it again, you know? So I think that's all I have. Robert, do you have any last words here for us?
Well, I think that's it's called free will. You know, do what you got to do, and it's your free will to choose. Figure it out. You know the other side. You know, somebody said something about reading the Satanic Bible, and I said, well, you know, if I don't know if it's out there, and I only read the Bible, how will I know what's on the other side if I don't read their stuff too? If you're telling me it's so bad, how do you know if you never read it? So there you go.
Anybody that says go and read the Satanic Bible have never read it, obviously, because if you do,
That's right.
you will see where he actually, like Anton LaVey's edition, he puts it in bullet forms, and you know, not hurting children. That's right there. That's one of the top things. Okay, you won't find that in the Christian Bible or any other religious text, will you? No, the Muslims, and that's what I'm worried about. This guy. I don't know how many wives he has, or how, wives, whatever you want to call it, or how old they are. These are the things I'm a little bit worried, because the Muslim faith, they believe in child marriage. They believe in hurting children, essentially. And like I said, if you had read the Satanic Bible, you would know that that is a huge no-no in there. So there you go. That's just being ignorant, right? You got to study it all. Otherwise, you are ignorant. You're only choosing portions of things. You got to read it all. Otherwise, you don't know. Okay. So, like I said, I knew this was going to be a triggering show, and I'm expecting some comments, and that's fine. Great. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. And if there is a lot of discussion, then we'll do another show.
Well, like Steve Bo says, it's your opinion, Robert. Yeah, everything's my opinion.
Totally my opinion.
You people out there all have an opinion, and you know, none of it's wrong. I love to hear opinions because, you know, I love new ideas. So, and with that, my last thing is join me and David Null's Tuesday night for Native American Myths and Legends, where we will be talking all things Native American and then some. So there you go.
Right on. Yeah, make sure you go and subscribe to Robert if you haven't already. I got 3 of his channels in the description down below. And, of course, all the other links to this guy here. And, thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like. Go and check out the merch store if you'd like. I should probably maybe give you the link for it while I'm here. I might as well. There is a postal strike in Canada right now. So, unfortunately, don't order anything from me right now. But the merch store is up and ready and ready to order anything
and
you want.
Get little mugs like this with my face, or a shirt with the Anthahkarana. There's all kinds of good stuff to get there. You know, you can go get a Milky Way sticker because they're going to be going out of style soon. As soon as I send Nina some pictures and stuff, we're going to have a new design.
Some new logos. That's right, for the Milky and whatever. So those
stuff will be history of the past.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Limited edition.
Limited edition. That's right. So go and get it now while it's still in store. But enjoy the Memorial long weekend here. I hope you guys get some time off and enjoy family or whatever it is that you're doing. Get your gardening on. Enjoy whatever it is. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday. So, stay tuned, everybody. And thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.